So, yeah, so good afternoon. We have okay, start recording. So we have discussed in the previous class the radial basis function networks. With that, we have completed module 1 of our course, the soft computing course. We have discussed the what is basically soft computing, its basics. Then we discussed what is the neural network, different kinds of architectures, then various fundamental building blocks of the neural networks in terms of network connections, architectures, activation functions, and the evolution of the neural network. Starting with the PITS model, we discussed with the basic models of the neural network. Then we talked about the perceptron, then ADA line, then multiple ADA line. Then we have discussed the backpropagation neural network. Finally, in the previous class, we have discussed the RBF network. Also, we have seen various, the sample problems, right? We have solved some sample problems in the class, and also I have asked you to solve some exercises problems of the um, book back exercises. Okay, I hope all of you have done that. Okay, now we will continue our interaction with the next module of the course, which is the memory models. Okay, so the next module of the course deals. So the next module is literally having few concepts, and so it is basically dealing with the memory models, essentially the pattern association, auto and hetero associative memory models, bidirectional associative memory BAM model, then upfield network. These are the various topics in the second module. Now, let us continue with the pattern association. What is pattern association? What is its importance? Then we will go to the memory models. Remember, so far when we were talking about the learning, what is actually the learning? We said in neural network, what is the learning means?
Knowing about weights,
So
knowledge about
essentially,
weights.
correct, essentially about knowing the weights or fixing the weights. Okay, so fixing the weights between the connections, and essentially it is rooted to the in the biological brain. It is about the the synapse strength. Okay, the biological brain, the weight is actually the strength of the synapse, the strength of the synapse to carry out the pulses, electric pulses from one neuron to the other neuron. That's what is the biological neuron, biological learning. Okay, the biological weights. But when it comes to the artificial neural network, it is knowing nothing but fixing or knowing the connection weights. So that's what we have learned so far. But is it that only knowing and fixing the weights is the learning? No, actually learning means it is also another process, wherein which the process of forming associations, associations among patterns. Okay, this is also known as learning. Okay, see, imagine uh, the process of forming association among patterns. When I say, in order to understand in a very crude manner, now all of you, there are about 64 students or 65 students in the class. All of you are learning soft computing course. Now down the line, once you get graduated, and imagine somebody maybe in some abroad pursuing their masters, somebody maybe in their dream offers, super dream offers. After about down the line of say after 5-6 years, imagine you think of soft computing. Okay, you heard the word soft computing. What is that you immediately recall? What is
So
that
the
you immediately recall? Huh?
software that it stands for uncertainty, vagueness, and all.
Okay, very good. What else?
Calculating the weight of neural networks.
Very good. What else? What else? After down the line, after some years, somebody said soft computing to you. You will recall something about soft computing. What you will recall? Okay, somebody said, when I heard the soft computing word, somebody said, I'm going to recall uncertainty. I'm going to recall uncertainty, fuzzy logic. That's what somebody said. Somebody said, look, if I heard the soft computing, I will recall about the connection weights, fixing and all that. What else?
So some models and algos that work as per the human brains and all.
Okay, somebody is telling that he will recall about the algorithms. Very good. What else? What else? That's all.
Sir,
Only
parallel,
for.
sir,
Sorry,
like
please.
parallels to, sir, like parallels to how we work.
Can you please repeat? I could not understand. What is that?
Sir, parallels to human brain, like solving.
Parallels to human brain. Okay, very good. So you mean to say that the soft computing is having some algorithms which are related to the way humans process information, parallel to the human brain. Okay, what else? What else? There are about 64 students in the class, right? Imagine if suppose you are in the second year or third year of your BTech program, down the line, imagine that if suppose immediately if I ask you a question, say your ninth standard, you recall something about it, something about ninth class or something about eighth class or something about your say second standard or something say about 10th standard. Or imagine if I say that you think of witty examination which you have written, you recall something, right? In the similar manner, down the line after some years, if you think of soft computing, what else you recall? Somebody is telling uncertainty, fuzzy logic, somebody is telling about connection weights, somebody is talking about the algorithms, what we are talking about in the class, somebody is telling about the parallels to the human brain. These are all. Yes. Anything else?
About
Like
how good my
digital
professor
logic.
was for binary logic.
Okay, very good. Somebody is telling, okay, binary logic. So there already somebody said fuzzy logic. So, okay, binary logic. Very good. Then
We'll remember all the project that we create on soft computing.
okay, you think of projects, right? Okay, very good. Imagine that 2-3 guys met somewhere in the evening, Friday evening. All of a sudden, from somewhere, somebody has come from New York, somebody has come from, say, London, somebody has come from, say, Paris. Three friends together have met somewhere in, say, in Delhi, in a Punjabi dhaba. So, eating their dinner and chatting about their BTech program, their memories. Okay, then somebody said, hey, yeah, you think of soft computing. Yeah. There was a fellow called Ashwini Kumar. He used to torture us and talk about digital assignment, jth component, algorithms. Such a boring class here. Like that's something you think of it, right? Some associations, right? So the point what I want to bring here is that you think of a course, immediately you are relating that with something else when you are trying to recall about the course. Is it not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Correct.
So the point is, you say soft computing, immediately you are recalling about some techniques that you are learning. Immediately you are recalling. I'm talking about recall from the memory. Okay. After some time, after learning this course, down the line, you have met and you are trying to recall your memories of the soft computing course. Somebody is telling that no, yeah, there were some algorithms, crazy algorithms. Right? These are all very crazy, fixing weights, random values, they go convergence. We don't know whether they will converge or not. Yeah, very crazy algorithms. Oh, yeah, that guy has really, made this course very, this one. No, I did not like this course. It's a very boring class. This guy Ashwini Kumar tortured us like anything, He asked for projects. He say you have to upload this, download that. What is this? crazy guy, something like that. You talk about it. So the point what I want to drive here is that when you think of something, you are associating with that with something else and trying to recall it. So that's what actually the human brain, the way it associates things, right? It associates something else with something. Okay, so the learning here, what we want to understand is that you are going to create associations among the patterns. Now you think of soft computing as one particular pattern vector, and human brain parallels is one particular pattern vector. Now you are trying to associate it. Until and unless you associate it, you can't recall it, right? Somebody said, sir, we will think of the jth component projects, which we will be doing it. Yeah, so why you are thinking about it? Because the moment you said soft computing, you associated that with the experience, learning experience you had with the projects, or the difficulty that you faced in the project, or excitement that you got it in the project, something you are associating. So here in the human brain, in fact, this is nothing new. It in fact, this has the very long history of rooted to the Aristotle, who said that human memory connects items, human memory connects ideas, human memory connects the sensations, objects. In fact, these objects, these are all either they can be similar or they may even be contradictory, right? Now think of this case, you said soft computing. When I said soft computing, you are associating that with something which is related, right? So sometimes even you may associate something with something which is totally contradictory, right? So these are all certain things that are possible. Okay, and not only that, sometimes you will associate the things which are with close proximity. Sometimes you will associate with some things which are happen in succession. Okay, are you able to follow what we are discussing?
Yes, sir.
Imagine, imagine you see a lightning. Immediately you will say that after a few minutes, after a few seconds, you will hear a thunder. So there are certain things which are happening in succession for sure. So you associate that with that. Now the point is, when the human brain is having that habit of forming the associations among the patterns, how do you bring it to the neural network, or how do you build the models? What kind of models I can create such that I can form the association among the patterns, and hence what I do, I submit a pattern. I say I'm submitting a pattern called soft computing. I am recalling a pattern called jth component project. I am submitting a pattern called soft computing. I am recalling the pattern called the human brain parallels. I am submitting a pattern called soft computing, and I am getting a pattern called fuzzy logic. Are you able to follow?
Yes, sir.
So you are submitting a stimulus. This is the stimulus. Okay, and this is the response. Right? So you submit some stimulus as an input to the model. So you submit the stimulus to the model and it gives you the response. Hope you are able to follow. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is what is that we are going to discuss in the pattern association. Okay, in this particular module. Now look at the typical architecture of such type of models. Okay. Are you able to see that?
Yes.
So what happened? You are going to have a model, memory model. Okay. How do I bring the memory model? We will discuss. That memory model, I'm going to submit a stimulus for which I'm going to get a response. Okay. This is called content addressable memory, called CAM. Okay. So that means you are creating the memory based on the content. Okay. See, look at your digital computer. Your digital computer basically works not with the content, rather it deals with the address. Imagine you want to fetch a memory location. Do you fetch the memory location by saying the content, or you will say the address of the memory location? What are all the compilers we have? You take any programming language, any compiler you take, it actually deals with the memory location. That means the address, but not with the content. But what about the human brain? And do you think that the human brain works as that? I'm storing this particular object related information in my left part of the brain at somewhere this particular location. Do we remember like that and recall like that? No, right? We just think about something and then we associate and then we get it, or we actually recall it. So we are thinking about the memory models that deal with the content, not with the address. Okay, it's not with address. That's the reason why we call the models what we are going to discuss, that is the pattern association models. They are all basically content addressable or even actually content. 1 minute, is it address or association?
So which like you said, the programs and all we use for that, which one we have to use?
Sorry, what is that?
Like you said, na, that for the computers and other programs we have to use that memory and all. So,
yeah. Take an example. I think if you have done the C programming, you will be knowing whenever you are going to recall, you want to fetch some object, you use pointers, right? That deals with the memory location. So whenever you are trying to fetch something from the memory of the system, I'm talking about the digital computer, you are dealing with the address of that particular memory location. Whereas the human brain do not think that what is the address of this particular item that you have stored in the human brain, right? So we are referring here the memory models that are basically based on the content, not on the actual address of the physical memory kind of a thing. Okay, are you able to follow?
Yes, yes sir.
So now the point is that these kind of memory models are called as associative memory models. Okay, who actually first associate the patterns that they want to store. So typically they associate the patterns they want to store, and essentially this particular memory is determined by identifying nothing but your connection weights. Okay, so your connection weights are going to represent the memory. Okay, so for the particular memory, yes please.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. So, like I'm not getting this memory based on content and content addressable memory. Like in what context you are explaining these terms?
Correct. So the point what I want to make you clear is that we are referring, once again I repeat, I am referring digital computer. Now imagine you are trying to fetch a object from the digital computer. How do I fetch it? I have to indicate the location of that particular object in your system. Okay, so imagine you are trying to fetch particular item. You may be telling the system that I want this particular object when you are searching, but how actually it searches in the system is through the by calculating corresponding memory location of that particular object. Right, that's how your memory management and operating system will take care of mapping your input to the corresponding location in the disk. That is the job of the operating system, and fetch that particular object. Now here we are talking about the human memory model. When I say human memory model, I'm saying the human memory models do not deal with storing and retrieving the information based on the address. Now imagine that you have to tomorrow write the examination. In the examination, you are, how do you write the exam? Typically you read something, you memorize something, and then you are going to perform certain operation or analysis and write the exam. Do you think that while writing the exam, you think that, okay, let me recall this particular information in my brain from the left part of or right part of the brain, something like that? Or do you store it like that? No, right? No, absolutely not. So the point what I want to drive here is that you are referring to the way the human brain memorizes and recalls is through content-based information, whereas a digital computer memorizes and recalls based on the address of the location. And that is the reason why we say the digital computer is based on the looking at the address, whereas the human memory is based upon the content. So here we are referring to the associative memory models, which are dealing with storing and recalling the patterns based on the content. So I'm going to give a stimulus, which is a content. I'm going to get the response, which is a stimulus, which is the output. Do you got it? I'm going to give a stimulus, which is the soft computing, like the previous example I have mentioned, soft computing. I said, for that, you are getting a response saying that, fuzzy logic, saying that the jth component project, some response. So you are giving a content and you are getting the response. So we are referring here, content addressable memory means that's what we are referring. So you are going to give the input, that means the stimulus, to the memory. And remember, when I say memory here, the memory is nothing but, again, the connection weights. Connection weights, when I refer, nothing but connection weights between the patterns. Okay, connection weights between the patterns. All that we are going to discuss. Okay, so when I say associating the patterns, how do I associate? So association of the patterns happens. So what I'm going to do here is that association of the patterns is through input and output pairs of vectors. The patterns are typically represented in the form of the vectors. And imagine I'm going to represent input as my S vector and output is my T vector. Okay. If my S is equal to T, that means my input, what I'm giving, and the output, what I'm getting, if both are same, then it is called auto-associative memory. If my input is not, and input and my output both are different, then it is called hetero-associative memory models. Okay, so I'm associating two patterns. If the while I'm associating, when I'm associating two patterns, and my stimulus and the output, if both are same, then they are called auto-associative memory models. If my stimulus and response both are not same and they are different, it is called hetero-associative memory models. Let us take one example. Say, take an example, I have my memory. Imagine that this is my memory. How I build the memory, that is different. We will be discussing it a little later. So I have a circle pattern, I have a triangle pattern, I have a square pattern. And my input stimulus, the stimulus to this particular, this is my memory. Okay. If I am giving my input as triangle, what is the response I should get? What is the response I should get? I'm supposed to get the triangle as the output. Okay, so this type of models are called auto-associative memory models. So in this case, my S vector and my t vector both are same. This is fairly simple. What I did, I just stored something, and when I submit the same as an input, I'm getting the same as an output. There is no much challenge involved here. Now the complexity increases. Imagine if I am giving the stimulus, which is a noisy stimulus. Now look at the stimulus what I am giving. What is this? I am giving a distorted input, which is a distorted triangle. Okay. This is not there, so I'm just putting a dot. So the input what I'm giving is a partial input, a noisy input. Okay. Even then I'm supposed to get my triangle as an output. Okay. So either my stimulus is correct stimulus or my stimulus is a noisy stimulus. I'm supposed to get my stored pattern that is my triangle. So my input and target both are same, auto-associative memory. Now imagine if my memory is like this. I am going to associate circle as 1, triangle as 2, square as a pattern called 3. Now I am giving my stimulus as triangle as an input. What is that I should get as an output?
2.
2. Because I am associating one pattern with another pattern. Right? So this is called heteroassociative memory. Okay. Remember, the association is there in the memory, either associating to itself, which is auto-association, associating with something else, which is heteroassociation memory. Okay. So now here also you have the same. You have, if I give the distorted input, okay, if I give a distorted input, still I should get the corresponding associated pattern. Now, what is bidirectional? Imagine it is not only in one direction. If association is there with a bidirectionally, that means like this. So imagine I am giving the stimulus as 3. What is that I am supposed to get?
Square.
It is bidirectional.
Sir.
Yeah.
So these auto-associative and association both includes the distorted ones also.
Correct. So either you should, if you are giving the correct stimulus or a noisy stimulus, the model should work. The model should work. What? Number one, first of all, model should have either of these models, any of these models should have these characteristics. Number one, first to learn and store the associations. Okay. Number two, recall the desired or associated pattern given a stimulus, including noisy stimulus. Okay, is that clear?
Sir, I have a small doubt.
Go ahead.
So like when we are giving any distorted or noisy stimulus and we are getting a particular output, how the both are same, like S is equals to T. That half triangle is somewhat similar to the triangle, but it's not exactly that, right? So how is it equal, sir? So how can we call it auto-associative?
Okay, so it is this. It is this. Yeah, exactly. You have a right doubt. It is this. When I say S is equal to T, auto association mean I stored something and I am recalling it the same. What I stored, circle I stored. What I stored, triangle I have stored. What I also have stored, it is my rectangle. Now the input what I am giving is the stimulus. Either I am giving exact right angle, exact triangle, or a distorted triangle. What I am getting the stored pattern, which is the triangle. In that way, it is auto association. Now, what is heteroassociation? Yes, you got the right doubt. The point is, you got a very good doubt. The point is, look at the heteroassociation. There, I am associating my triangle with another pattern called 2, which is a different pattern. Right? My pattern vector is totally different. You are thinking my stimulus is noisy stimulus. Why I am calling it as a auto association? Yes, but we are calling it as auto association. The reason is that you are storing and recalling the same pattern. Look at the heteroassociation. You are storing a square with 3. You are storing a triangle with 2, circle with 1. And you are giving the input, either you give full-fledged right input or a distorted input or a noisy input or partial input or whatever it is. But you are trying to get the corresponding associated pattern, and hence it is heteroassociation. Is that solved your doubt?
No, sir. Like I'm still confused, sir.
No, you are thinking it is with noisy input. What I'm mentioning here is that you are recalling what is stored. What is stored is the square. Square is stored and it is not associated with something else. Triangle is stored. It is not associated with anything else. You got the same as an output. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And hence
So
it is
like,
auto.
can
Go
be
ahead.
related if we talk about the brain and the thinking like brain, human brain. So when we recall something, even we have a small, like not full knowledge of that, we recall the whole thing. So in that sense, we can consider it like.
Okay, see, 1 minute. You are actually trying to model the entire human brain functionality. See, the point is, it is not that way around you have to think, because we don't have the models that mimic different all other activities of the human brain. See, we have some models that in fact have parallels with some aspects of the human brain functionality. It doesn't mean that whatever the bidirectional associative memory or heteroassociative memory or auto-associative memory is the only ways with which the human brain works, right? There could be n number of ways. But whereas we don't have the models like that in the neural network. Whatever the models that are there only we are discussing here. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it's not full-fledged. You don't have artificial models that take care of the entire different ways of memorizing things, learning things, recalling things, associating things that happens in the human brain. No, we don't have. And people could not even identify how actually it is happening. Still, there is a lot of research happening on the brain research side. Okay, and this is the another side where the computer science people are trying to build the models, thinking that okay, perhaps this is the way. In fact, if you ask, these models are having a lot of limitations. How many patterns you can learn is very limited, right? So there is a limitation. It's not that it can capture the entire, say take an example, you take one particular human, how many several things that he or she can relate, associate. But if you want to bring the entire aspects from a particular model, no, that model will not work. You understand?
Clear. Yes, sir.
And remember, the point is the strength of this model, whether auto-associative memory or heteroassociative memory, means what? How many patterns that model can remember. And not only remember, but recall when I present either exact pattern or a noisy pattern. That is limited. The strength of the models are limited. Okay, whereas the human brains, it is not like that. So now the point is, when you're coming back to the models, the architecture, if you look at such type of architectures, there are associative memory architectures are of two types. One is feed-forward architectures, Then another one is iterative architectures. So what we will be discussing is first is the feed forward, then we will go to the iterative. So you have feed forward auto associative and you have feed forward hetero associative. Similarly, you have iterative auto associative and iterative hetero associative. These are the various models. Now, as I have said, the strength of these models is about how many number of patterns that model can associate. Okay. How many number of patterns that it can associate, and remember how many number of patterns it can recall, providing the stimulus. Upon stimulus, how many number of patterns it can recall. See, the point is the network should not say that, look, I have learned n number of patterns and now I will forget if you present me n plus 1. I will forget some patterns if you present me n plus 5. So model will not work that way. So the question is how many number of such patterns the network can associate. So that is what is important. So now we will be discussing these aspects in the this particular module. Let us see the way the network of these particular models works or the looks like. Third slide, so fourth slide. So this is the architecture of feed-forward auto-associative network. Okay, first of all, it is auto-associative, and don't get confused that your x and y in fact are same. So your x is equal to y. Okay, actually in this case. So there's the reason why you can notice you have m number of patterns on the x towards x and m number of patterns on the y. So this you can think of input, this you think of output, and your connection weights, the connection weights between this input and output forms the memory. Okay. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Is that clear? Okay. Now let us see how these connection weights comes. How do I train? So for that, I have the algorithm called Hebbian learning algorithm. Trying to get the algorithm from the book. So you can notice that I'm going to initialize all the connection weights to the zeros, and so I take the input vector, input output vector s and t. So that means this is s, this is t, and remember for an auto associative memory model the s is equal to t. Okay, and then what is that we are going to do is activate the output layer units to the current targets. That's what is that mentioned, and then we are going to adjust the weights as x into y, x into y. Okay, so the old weight, which is nothing but the 0, and the new weights xi into yi. Okay, in the sense that what we are going to do is you are going to take like this. Imagine the input vector is S is equal to S1, S2, so on, Sm, and I'm saying that my target is also same. That means the T is also same, which is S1, S2, so on, Sm. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to do the dot product of these two vectors. Okay. Otherwise, I can even say that. It is through the matrices outer product way, outer product of matrices in the sense, I'm going to think the the vector S by performing the transpose of it. S is equal to S transpose, and my target is T, that is S. So what I'm going to do is my S transpose, which is M cross 1. Now it is 1 cross M. It becomes M cross 1, and this is 1 cross M. So what I'm going to get is the weight matrix as, okay, I will write here. My weight matrix as S transpose into T. That means, or else I can say S transpose into S. S transpose into T or S transpose into S. So that gives me a weight matrix which is of the size M cross M. This is my memory. Are you able to follow? Are you able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it is fairly simple when comparing with the memory, the back propagation model and other models that what we have discussed. It is fairly simple. It is typical. Process of. I will just take the. It's a typical process of multiplying two vectors, or you create as a one is the row vector and another one is the column vector, and perform the column matrix and the row matrix and perform the matrix multiplication. Okay. So in the sense that it also looks like this, the matrix multiplication. Okay. So if you notice your S transpose into T, and remember what happens in the case of auto-associative models, what you are doing is S transpose into T. Okay, so wherein which S transpose into S actually. Okay, this becomes M cross 1, and it is anyway it is 1 cross M. Imagine if it is heteroassociation, what happens? Your S transpose is M cross 1. Obviously, your target is something else, right? Which you are trying to associate. Imagine that is 1 cross N. So whatever the weight matrix, what you get would be M cross N. This is for heteroassociation. And this is for auto-association. Have you got the point?
Yes, sir.
And remember, you may be having the patterns which may be either binary or bipolar. Hope you got the point. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now let us take, this is the way you are going to store the patterns. Remember, this is what we are saying is either you call this as weight matrix calculation, or you call it as associating the patterns, or you call it as building the memory. All this is what happening here. So you take one pattern. Yes. Remember. Okay. Now the point is another interesting thing. Here I said yes, which is one particular vector S1, S2, so on, Sm. But look at the narration, what I said here. I said you have a circle, you have a triangle, you have a square. Here we talked about with only one particular object, with S. I may be having another S, S2. So for that, I may be having some other pattern. I have S3. This may be my triangle. This may be my circle. This may be my square. You understand? Hello? Are you able to follow what we are discussing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now the point is, how do I build matrix, a weight matrix for this? My weight matrix for this, I am going to build it as S1 transpose S1 plus S2 transpose S2 plus S3 transpose S3. This is my auto association with multiple patterns. With multiple patterns. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, what about my heteroassociation with my multiple patterns? Heteroassociation with my multiple patterns would be S1 transpose T1 plus S2 transpose T2 plus S3 transpose T3. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts here? Yeah.
No, sir.
Okay, very good. So that is, see, your entire memory models works like this. That's all. If you know this logic, nothing else is required. Okay. Now let us see your auto association and hetero association, how it is going to happen. Now I have done this association. Now what is that I am going to do for my my recalling? So what I have done now, I have calculated the weight matrix. I have calculated, or I have built the memory, or I have associated the patterns. This is my auto association and this is my hetero association. Now how I am going to recall it? Recall process is fairly simple. Okay, this is the way I am going to recall. So you have calculated your weights. So this is the way you are going to recall. When I say recall, you are submitting the stimulus. You are getting the response. What I am doing, you see. First, I have got my weights. Now I take the input vector. What I'm going to simply do is that I'm going to multiply my input vector with my weight matrix and apply the activation. Okay, my signum activation. That's all I'm going to do. That's all. Nothing else. Is that clear? Let us do with one particular example. Imagine I have a S vector. Okay, like this. I'm giving you an S vector as like this. 1, minus 1, minus 1 and 1. Okay. All of you are able to follow? How do I build the weight matrix? I want to store it. I want to make an auto association. I want to build the auto associative memory. What would be my weight matrix? S transpose yes. So this is 1 cross 4. I get a 4 cross 4 matrix. Can somebody tell me? What do I get? Just perform S transpose S. That's all.
1 minus.
Yes, 1. Yeah, please go ahead. Okay. 1 minus 1 minus 1 and 1. Then
Minus 1, 1.
yes.
1 minus 1.
Correct. What is
Minus
the third vector?
1, 1 minus 1. 1 minus 1, 1.
Okay. This is my weight matrix. That's all. Imagine if I am storing another pattern. What I have to do? Imagine this is S1. I have another pattern called S2. I have to calculate weight matrix for that and add this to your memory. Now you submit your input pattern as same 1 minus 1 minus 1 1 as an input, and you are going to multiply that with your weights. So S matrix S1 I am submitting and multiply that with your weight matrix. What is the output you get? What is the output you get?
So 4 minus 4 minus 4, 4.
4 minus 4 minus 4 and 4. What is your rule says? Activation rule says if it is above 0, fire 1. It is less than 0, fire minus 1. So what would be your output? 1 minus 1 minus 1 and 1. Right? What you presented? Yes. What you got is yes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now the point is here there are several things we need to understand. Number one, imagine you are having multiple patterns like S1, S2, S3 and S4. So what I do, I calculate S1 transpose S1 plus S2 transpose S2 and S3 transpose S3 and S4 transpose S4. This would be my weight matrix if I have multiple patterns. Do you understand that? Of course, we have done here only for one pattern. If you have multiple patterns, we have to calculate our weight matrix in this way. Do you follow that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Another important thing is, of course, we have not done that here, but in general, if you notice the prime diagonal, the prime diagonal is all ones here. The prime diagonals are supposed to be made as 0. Okay, for the weight matrix. Okay, so even though you calculate the weight matrix in this way, the diagonal elements to be made 0. Okay, in the sense that what happened when you look at the neural network, actually the prime diagonal, that means if you notice weight from 1 to 1, weight from 2 to 1, or weight 2 to 2, weight from I to I, weight from M to M. Okay, the self connections are supposed to be made 0. Okay, self connections to be made 0. This thing you have to remember. So even if you do, when you perform the S into the weight matrix, you get your response, which is the stored pattern. Okay, that is another thing you need to remember. Now the point is, let me get a noisy pattern. Okay. Are you able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Let me get a noisy pattern like this. 0, -1, -1, 1. What happens? My stored is 1, -1, -1, 1. I am giving the distorted input 0, -1, -1, 1. What happens? Hello? So I am giving the input 0, -1. What is the other one I said? -1, right? And 1. And your weight matrix. As it is weight matrix.
Sir, it will give the same output.
So you will be getting the same output, which is 1, -1, -1, 1. Okay. So this is what is your auto-associative memory. Now, all these models, as I have said, they have certain strength. How many such patterns these models can remember? Okay, it is about for your given object. Now I have given only one object. How many patterns are there? How many features are there for this pattern? Feature 1, this is feature 2, feature 3, feature 4. Okay, so you can build with 4 features. You can build a network that can memorize 4 patterns. Okay, not more than that. Typically, if you try to store more, it will get failed. Okay, that is the maximum capacity of the network. Okay, so now what I suggest is that look at the book back exercises. Take book back exercises. Okay, number 1, you will find auto-associative models with single pattern. That means by giving only yes. For that, you will have only one weight matrix, and it is with clear input and noisy input. Then you have auto-associative models with multiple patterns. What is multiple patterns? You have S1, S2, S3, and S4. Imagine you have 4 patterns. So calculating the weight matrix and presenting noise input or clear input. Is that clear? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, please do that. So I think it's already at 5 o'clock, so I'll stop here. Are you able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please do that in the book back exercises.